Well, good morning. Pastor Roddy Chesser, Open Door Family Fellowship. It's Monday, May the 4th, and this is pandemic preaching. We're doing a little pandemic preaching out in the yard this morning. I was thinking about the book of Ecclesiastes this morning. I wanted to share something with you. Chapter 4, verse 7 says, "Then I returned and saw vanity under the sun. There's one alone, and there's not a second. Yea, he hath neither child nor brother, yet is there no end of all his labor. Neither is his eye satisfied with riches, neither saith he, For whom do I labor and bereave my soul of good? This is also vanity. Yea, it is a sore travail. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him. And a threefold cord is not quickly broken." Solomon's talking about a guy who's single. Now, listen, there's nothing wrong with being single. The New Testament tells us that some people actually are spiritually gifted to remain single, called by God for that purpose. But for the vast majority of us, myself included, it's not good for the man to be alone. That's what God said in Eden after Adam got to see all those animals. He realized that he didn't have one that corresponded to him. And so God put him into a deep sleep, and he took out that rib, and he made a woman. And he made his wife, and he brought her to him. And they began to have a family. This passage in Ecclesiastes is talking about that. It says, look, here's this guy. He's all alone. He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have any children. Doesn't even have his brother to work with. He's working so hard, but for what? Listen, one of the greatest blessings of my life is my team. My team that consists of Wendy, and Kyra, and David, and Katie, and Josie, and Julia. That's my team. Man, we work together. And as I look at that passage there in Ecclesiastes, he says, first of all, he says, you've got a greater reward for your labor. Man, we can just accomplish more when we work together. You have a loving husband and a loving wife, and I'm going to tell you what, they could get so much more done together than either one of them could get done apart. It's a synergistic relationship. Secondly, he says, you got to help her. If you fall down, somebody can help you back up. Hey, I'm going to tell you what, my dad for years and years and years leased country and went out by himself, and I'm sure that every single time that he was out there by himself, my mom, in the back of her mind, she had this question, what if he gets into a bind? And she always felt so much more secure when he had some help, when he had me or anybody with him, just in case he got into a bind. Sometimes even just a little bind. You need somebody to help you up. Not only that, but there's the snuggling. He talks about if you're out there by yourself and it's cold, you can't get no heat. You remember old David? He got old and he couldn't get no heat. They had to hire old Abishag to sleep with him at night to keep his old body warm. Hey, listen, the comfort that comes from a loving married relationship, there is absolutely no way to produce that except a loving husband and a loving wife. And it is the biggest blessing from God. I'm telling you, it's this incredible relationship that God has put together. And then fourthly, he says that you fight together. Now, I'm not talking about fighting with each other, being against one another. I'm talking about being partners in this fight together. We've got all kinds of fights going on around us all the time. And when you've got a husband and a wife that stand toe-to-toe, when you've got a family that stands together and locks arms together against the world, against the flesh, and against the devil, you have got yourself a team that could get something done. But then, at the very end, Solomon does one more thing here. He throws something else into the mix, and he says a threefold cord is not easily broken. A threefold cord like this rope. Now, the amazing thing about this rope is that all three of these cords twisted together are stronger than these three cords if they were just together. So if you were to measure the tensile strength of each of these cords, multiply it by 3, then measure the tensile strength of a 3-fold twisted rope. This rope is stronger than all 3 of those. Now, what's Solomon talking about? Well, he's talking about this. He's talking about the fact that a marriage relationship is a covenant between 3 parties, not just 2. It's a covenant between a husband, a wife, and the Lord Jesus Christ. And when you enter into that kind of a covenant, God takes those 3 cords, himself, you, your wife, your husband, and he twists them together in such a way that he makes something that's strong, something that can take the jerks of life. Hey, they're coming. They're coming. He makes something that can stretch and not break. That's one of the things, it's one of the reasons why we use a twisted rope rather than a braided rope. A braided rope can't stretch. This rope can stretch. Hey, there's got to be some give. There's got to be some flex. There's got to be some stretch in these relationships of life. I just want to encourage you this week. Today's Monday. Sunday's coming. Sunday is Mother's Day. These gals have had them one heck of a 45 days. Let's make it special for them. God bless you. I love you.